Dream.
Hope not.
Yay. You know, that's my Oscar. That was the thing that was supposed to make me super, super happy, but I don't feel like that. You know? And that's what I think this idea of depression is coming from, because we get told one thing, this is going to make us really, really happy, then when we get it, or we get close to it, or we miss out on it, we have this unhappiness. And I was talking about this with the people that came to my little meet and greet today, and we're sort of just talking about this idea, and what is it? What makes you happy then? You know? And what I think is so much more important is, and what fills that emptiness on the inside, is having purpose. How many people can honestly say they have purpose in life, or they know what their purpose is? It's really, really complicated. If you do, that's awesome. But it's a really, really hard thing, and you know, I've sort of struggled with this idea for a long time, like, what is purpose, you know? And everything that I've learned from my career, and all the things that the world has offered is, and I guess I'll start on this starting point is, and I tweeted this recently, those who can be more grateful can be happy with less. And what does that mean, essentially? In theory, we could all wake up in the morning and talk about our have-nots. Who hasn't got something that they want? Wow, you guys are really lucky people. There's like, and I think what I'm trying to say here is that there's something you can always complain about and be upset about and say, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. Hey, I wish I had Ian Somerhalder's eyes. But I don't have them, you know? And I could wake up every morning saying, I wish I had his eyes, I wish I had his eyes, but it's not going to change. Or I could be like, hey, I really like my eyebrows. You know? I do. I really do like my eyebrows. So, I think what's really, really important, and I think it's so essential for every single person to start learning how to create habits of being grateful for what you have, not what you have not. And I know it's really, really easy to say, and someone might be in the audience right now going, well, that's so easy to say, but you know, what difference does it make? And it's like, well, it's easy to say, but it's better to do. And how do you do that? And this is my argument, and I've watched my mum suffer from depression for so long, and this is my belief on, you know, that negative attitude is we've created habits in our life. And maybe that habit that you've created is like talking about the things that you don't have, or being unhappy with the things that you wish you had but you don't have, you know? And every single day that you let yourself do that, eventually it becomes a habit. And I'll give you an example. And I was saying this with my group. You know when the elevators aren't working on the lifts? The lifts, you know the escalators? Everyone know what an escalator is? Those moving things, stairs? Now, has anyone had that experience when you're on the escalator, but it's broken? Right? It's broken. And you're like, okay, well I'll just walk on it. And you take that first step and you go, whoa, why did I do that? Because your body has created this habit. Every time it sees the escalator, when you step on it, you start moving. Do you guys get that feeling? Does anyone get that feeling? Or am I just crazy? Yes? Or no? Okay. Do you know what that is? There's nothing different. There's no difference about that surface. It's just your mind creating that, getting used to that habit of standing on that thing and seeing it and moving. Now the exact same thing happens every single time you get negative about what's going on in your life, or you're unhappy or ungrateful. Because what you do is you just create habits in your head, and eventually your mind just starts doing that without you asking it to. Now the only way to change that is to start being positive, and that's really, really hard for some people. And I always say, the amount of time it takes to create a habit is the same amount of time it's going to take to break it. So if you've been like negative for 7 years, it's going to take you 7 years to break it. Does that make sense? Kind of? It's a very quiet audience, isn't it, today? Very quiet. So anyway, and some people go, well, gosh, it's going to take 7 years. What's the point, Nathaniel? Because the good news is, in 7 years' time, you can break that habit, and you can actually start smiling again. You know, which is so, so important. And that's where I'm constantly fighting this battle of like what Hollywood says I should and shouldn't do and how I should look.
And then you go, I'm just going to stop listening and just be happy with who I am, you know?